Okay, we're recording. So what I'm going to share my screen with you here momentarily. And Mr. Andy Reed and Miss Alexandria Eliski, thank you so much for joining us. And welcome to the University of Mount Olive. Glad to have you with us in your MBA program.
Oh, glad to be here.
Understand. This particular course is going to be unique in the standpoint that it will be the only course that you'll take that is affords you the opportunity to work ahead, to work more individually than what you will in a group. This particular course is really that introductory course that we offer to all incoming MBA students, so that to see where they are with their business acumen and find areas that they may need to improve in. That's the purpose of the assignment 1B, which is called you may see it called the inbound exam or the entrance exam or the undergrad exam. All that vernacular is interchangeable, but basically what it is, you'll be purchasing a Peregrine module either through the bookstore or through directly to Peregrine, that you'll take that test. Then that will use that test to determine what other potential modules that you will need. I've seen some students who didn't have to purchase any, didn't need any. I've seen some who've had to purchase all 15. The average, at least from my experience, has been anywhere from 6 to 8. It's typically been the average. So somewhere in there. So whether you don't have to do any or whether you have to do all 15, please do not lose any sleep over that. It's just that process you're going to go through. Everyone will have to complete all the other non-Peregrine or what you may see as supplemental assignments. Everyone will have to do that. But the Peregrine module is really that business focus on the 12 different CPCs or core professional component that you'll take, which kind of aligns to the overall program itself that you'll take throughout your MBA program. So this individual course, introductory course, kind of gets you into that mindset of what you can expect, get you accustomed to using Moodle, get you accustomed to using Turnitin and some of the other things that you will be using throughout your academic program. So with that, if you have a question, please let me know. I will pause just for a moment while I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you're able to see our course shell.
Yes.
So let me come back here. This is the overall course shell. So what I plan to do is to, except for the holiday coming up, Memorial Day coming up in May, the end of May.
Okay.
I plan to have this time kind of set aside where I'm going to be online, and if someone needs something, they can certainly pop in. We can have a discussion. In essence, it'll be my virtual office hours. But equally important, what I want everyone to know is that I'm not going to be confining myself or to you to this time slot. If your time frame works better at a different time and we need to make some adjustments, I just need to know that feedback. You see my email and my cell phone number.
Correct.
The best way to catch me would be either one, because I monitor it all the time. So don't feel compelled that if you have a question, you have to wait till Monday to get an answer. To get in contact with me. I will adjust my schedule to try my best to accommodate yours.
Okay.
So our Moodle shell is built out. It looks kind of busy. It's got a lot of content to it. And this is my shell, which is some of the stuff you won't see because some of it's hidden. That it's not so much. The reason why it's hidden, it's more for the instructors who teach the course. We have multiple instructors who teach this course, so we kind of keep notes running back and forth between each other. So a lot of what I really want to talk about is if you have any issues with Peregrine, the best thing that you can do is contact them. Here is their information here. I can't, other than to send them an email to ask them to maybe reset something. That's about all the access that I have with Paragon. So anything with the certificates that you're going to be doing or getting into their website, you need to be talking with them. And for anything with UMO, you certainly want to be contacting UMO as well. Here is our UMO stuff here. And that in here is the Paragon stuff. But our UMO IT department, they don't typically work 24 hours a day. So if you have anything, issues come up with Moodle or email, best way to catch them is to either leave them a voice message or send them an email or submit a work order through the self-service in Moodle. And certainly if you have any issues, contact me and let me know as well. And certainly if it's a Moodle issue that it's just not working, when it does start working, we'll go in and try to make some accommodations on those due dates. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take what we're calling this inbound exam or the undergraduate exam. So as a student, you have two options to which to get the exam. What we call private pay. Private pay means you're going directly to Paragon's website and you're using your credit or debit card. And once you get through the registration process and you show them a good credit card, they will release those codes to you. And that's a very relatively quick process to do that. This is the password that you're going to use. So let's go to here real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. And you will typically see this private pay direct access to Paragon. And that the only time you're going to use this link is going to be if you are purchasing directly from Paragon. If you're not purchasing it from Paragon, we'll come back to that about the UMO link. But this is Paragon's website. So I'm going to pop in our password, proceed with registration. And there's another document here on our course shell that kind of gives you the decoder key, if I can use that term, the differences in the names that Paragon uses as it correlates to the names that we use on our bookstore website. And that's in a Word document. But for your first exam, we're going to purchase the Business 500 exam. And as you can see, based on the results of this exam, once you upload that certificate of completion, I will download that certificate, I will analyze that certificate, and then I will create a document that's going to be called your individualized course of study. And that's going to lay out what, if any, of these other modules that you're going to have to take as well throughout this 8 weeks we have together. So we have selected the the Business 500 entrance exam. We got in our password, and I'm going to hit review your selection and proceed. Now it's going to tell me that it's been successfully added. This is how much it's going to cost me. It's in my cart. I'm going to continue with registration. Now this is where it's looking for your specific UMO information. You should have been given a UMO email address as well as a student ID. So you're going to put in all that information, and here's where they're looking for their credit card information in that. And once you get all that information in, you're going to review registration, then you're going to actually purchase that, and they're going to send you an email with the access codes. And in that access code, they will probably have another link that's going to be embedded into that email that you will use in order to get back into Paragon's website. So that's how we would do it through Paragon. If we were purchasing it directly from our bookstore, the biggest difference between the two, Paragon will not take financial aid. So if you're using financial aid, you have to go through the bookstore in order to purchase that. And once you purchase it from the bookstore is going to send you a very similar email that Peregrine will, and it's going to give you a specific URL link that's probably going to look like this. And it's going to ask you for your name, your address, email, and this specific activation code. This is an example. That's the format that code is going to come to you in that email. You're going to type in that code, and you're going to hit begin. Then you should have access to the modules that you purchase. So a little bit different between the two, either purchasing it from the bookstore directly from Peregrine. Again, Peregrine takes credit card or debit card. They do not deal with financial aid. The bookstore will take debit and or credit cards, but if you're using financial aid, then you have to go through the bookstore. And the bookstore markups is a little bit higher than what you'll pay if you pay directly through Peregrine. Then once you take your exam, you're going to request your certificate of completion. You're going to download that certificate of completion, or they're going to send it to you via email. And they're probably going to ask you, do I need to send it to this person at the university? And you want to select yes, because we take those results for part of our overall assessment criteria as well, use it internally. And then once you get that certificate of completion, you're going to come back here to this assignment 1B. You're going to upload your certificate of completion. And when you upload your certificate of completion, what you should see is just your name. As being the instructor, I see everybody. That once you upload it, I'll get an email to let me know it's there. Then I'm going to go get that certificate of completion. I will do my analysis. Then in turn, I will upload your individualized course of study right back here. So you should be able to upload your certificate of completion, then come back here and download your course of study. Once you receive that course of study is going to tell you exactly which of the other 15 modules that you need to complete and in which week they need to be completed in. Your grade book is going to, because we're using a Moodle, we don't have the ability to tailor a Moodle course shell to an individual student. So all the assessment modules, all the non-Peregrine assessment activities is going to be uploaded in your grade book. And what you will see is that we're using as an example, we can see that all the activities that are uploaded in this grade book. That does not mean that you'll complete each and every one of these activities. That's what's going to be the purpose of the course of study. But whatever activity you're not required to complete, that'll be outlined in your course of study. And we won't do anything with the grade book. That grade book will be blank for that particular assignment, and that will not affect your overall end of course grade. So if you see a lot of activities here and you say, hey, my course of study, I don't have to do quite as much as I see in my grade book, that's the reason why. We just can't tailor a Moodle shell specifically to an individual student. So it's kind of generic. And in fact, when you look through the entire 8 weeks of our Moodle shell, you will see all the Peregrine modules, all the weekly non-Peregrine module assignments are here as well. So you'll see it all. And again, I think after week 2, after week 2, for week 1 and week 2 is very similar, where you'll see the private pay, then you see the using financial aid. Then after that point, I think we stop using that and just use private pay, because it doesn't change at that point. But again, if you are using financial aid, Peregrine, once you purchase not you, but once you purchase it from the bookstore reaches out to Peregrine. They purchase those on your behalf. Then they release the access codes to you. You will use that URL link embedded in that email to get access back to the Peregrine modules. But the process is still the same. Once you complete the Peregrine modules, you will get a certificate of completion, and that certificate of completion will be uploaded in the appropriate drop box within Moodle. The other thing that we have created here in our Moodle shell is turning in assignments, and I want to talk about that briefly, because everything that you'll be doing over these 8 weeks, you're going to touch it again, the process again, and throughout your coursework, like doing discussion forums, using a graded assignment in Moodle, uploading an assignment in Moodle, doing activities in turning in and uploading that assignment, even using Zoom in some of your classes. Especially in the capstone courses, you'll be required to make a team presentation where you'll be using the Zoom platform to do that. But what you will find in some courses, the professor will not do it the way I'm going to show you. They may be using Turnitin, but they may be using what I call a one and done, meaning that you upload the paper and then that instructor will provide you feedback. The way I like to do it in this introductory course is our start date for that week and our post date of the week that the paper is going to be due are the same dates. So what that means is that the start date is the earliest date to which you can upload an assignment and turn it in. The post date is the earliest date that Turnitin, after it does its analysis, will upload the similarity values as well as the similarity report. And that is your opportunity to click on the report and see what is highlighted and see what that similarity value index score is, and to use that to make any improvements in that paper, because the purpose of your developing your scholarly writing skills is going to be develop your critical thinking, the way you communicate, the way you analyze, and the way you provide that feedback for that particular paper. It's not so much to see how well that you can cite, put in the proper citations or direct quote somebody in APA, even though in Tillman School of Business we are using APA style of writing, but to develop your critical thinking and scholarly writing skills. So I like to give students the opportunity to download that report, to make any improvements in that paper, then re-upload that paper. Because of the way I have this set up, I can upload a paper on the 6th, down after it does its analysis, reload it on the 7th, redo it on the 8th, redo it on the 9th if I want to, all the way up to the 19th. The due date is when that paper, that's the absolute due date, meaning that anything after May 19th, 2019 at 11:59 p.m., the database will not accept that paper. So I set it up for this particular course because it's the introductory course, and it's going to be the first course, and it'll be that course where you'll have the option to work ahead, where the other courses that you'll be involved in have what I call very hard due dates, probably have team assignments where your work is going to be included into a group project. So, but for this class, because it is an introductory and everybody's going to be different based on the inbound exam results, we kind of going to give you the flexibility to work ahead if you want to. But use this to your advantage. And the greatest thing about this is that I can upload one assignment per week in the same folder, and what Turnitin will do, it will reanalyze it as like it's a brand new paper. It does not compare it to what you just previously submitted. And the other thing about that, the good thing about that is that once it uploads your second paper or your third or fourth, all those previous versions are permanently deleted. The database does not even see it. Now, word of caution, do not recycle papers, meaning please do not write a paper in this class and try to submit it for another class, because that will flag it and it will come back highly similar. In a lot of cases, you'll be called out on that to provide the opportunity to explain what you did. So do not recycle papers. And if you're not familiar with APA, or if it's been a while since you did APA, I would highly recommend that you spend a little bit of time here on alpurdue.edu's website. And again, we're using APA style of writing in the Tillman School of Business. Spend some time here getting yourself familiar with APA style. If you don't know it, it is different than Chicago. And again, the purpose of using APA is to give credit to someone's thoughts, ideas that you borrow as you craft your paper. It's not so much. I hope you don't drive it to a point where you're doing a lot of quoting. That's not the intent of scholarly writing. The intent of scholarly writing is going to be to develop your own style, but you want to make sure that you give credit where credit is due, and citing a paper as you go, building your references as you go, is much easier than try to come back and retrofit it at the back end. But everything you need to know about APA you can find right here, and this information is most current. This is more current than I think we're using the 6th edition of the APA manual. This information here is more current than that, so I would spend some time, and they've got a great example paper in here as well. And your instructor should be able to aid you with any questions you might have as well. So the Moodle shell is completely built out. The key is going to be to get through the 1B assignment, or the inbound exam assignment. Grant me the opportunity to provide you that Word document that'll tell you which modules you need to go purchase. Unless you're planning on purchasing all of them, and that's certainly your choice. But I would, if you're not, I would request to wait. Don't go purchase any modules until you receive that document from me. And typically, I usually get that back to you extremely quick when you upload it. So I'm not going to wait till Monday of next week. If you upload it like today, I will have it back to you by tomorrow. So I try to get ahead of that work. But as you get through the 1B assignment, and if you're waiting on me, you certainly have the opportunity to come on and work ahead. You can start reading some of the supplemental assignment stuff. You can start looking at some of this information here. This is what is called a non-Peregrine assignment. And you can certainly go ahead and start doing that. That's perfectly fine. Just do not do anything with Peregrine until you get that course of study back. That makes sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah. Everybody will have to complete all the non-supplemental assignments. And that individual plan is going to look something like this. It's going to be tailored specifically to you based on the inbound exam results. And whenever it comes up, yeah, there you go. So like this is a blank document that it has all 15 modules that someone has to complete, but I'm going to tailor that based on your results. But let's say that you have to do 11 Peregrine modules. We get a price break at 10. So if I had to buy 11, I would go ahead and purchase all 15 for the price of 10, because you will have access back to these modules even after the course is done if you want to do some brush up and reviewing that. So if you got to buy 10 or more, just go ahead and select all 15, because you're going to get all 15 for the price of 10. And as you can see here, this would, like in week 1 is just the introductory as well as the Peregrine inbound exam. Then we get into the meat of the course from subsequent weeks. And this is kind of what it's going to look like. And I will come in here and tell you, like, let's say, for instance, that you don't need the foundation of research techniques and statistics, then it's going to have, this course is not required. So it's hopefully it'll be very, very clear what you have to go do. But like this assignment 2C, this particular individual needed to take microeconomics. So we're telling that student, once completed, upload it. And the post-test will be the score that's recorded. So what does that mean? Peregrine gives you, these Peregrine modules, academic leveling modules, core professional competency modules, CPCs, or they will give you the option to take, they're kind of like self-contained modules, meaning that you'll take a pretest. And in that pretest, it's going to tell you what areas of those questions that you may be a little deficient in. Then it's going to give you some study material that you can study. Then you can get to take the post-test. It's the post-test score that is the one that we're going to record, not the pretest. It's the post-test. And you have, let's say, for instance, that you go in and you complete the first one, and your first post-test score, you scored a 85. And you say, hey, I'd like to try the second test, because you get 2 attempts. And let's say on the second test, you score a 95. The post-test. It is the second score that's going to be recorded. So if your second score is 95 and your first one was 85, you're going to earn a 95 for that module. But if you score 85 on the first test and you score a 65 on the second test, 65 was what Peregrine is going to record on your behalf. And that's what's going to reflect on your certificate of completion. But we kind of have a benchmark saying that if a student scores 85% or greater, then that demonstrates proficiency of that particular module. Questions?
Oh, none so far.
Okay. Ms. Alexandria, do you have any questions? If you want to type them in, I'll go look to see if you have any.
I do not have any questions.
Oh, okay. You're back with us. Thank you so much.
I finally got to work and you were talking, so I was like, I'm not going to interrupt you. You can say I was here. So.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So let me a few more things here, and then I'll be done with this particular piece. There's a lot, this student course orientation, especially if it's been a while since you've been in a college environment, how to use some of the stuff that we're doing, net etiquette, that type stuff. That's a good read if you have. And again, if it's been a while since you've been into it, I mean, if you're recently coming out of one program into another one, that may not be as beneficial to you. So pick what you need to use to make sure you're ready. And as you move forward, I would suggest that, again, spend some time with alpurdue.edu. If you're not that familiar with APA, or if it's been a while since you've been in an academic environment, go ahead and spend the afternoon there. It'd be well worth your investment, not only for this course, but for subsequent courses that you're going to be involved in. Here's another website that I would tell students that A lot of the information that you see here, like you may say, hey, accounting scares me to death. I don't like accounting. Spend some time here. This quickmba.com is another place that you can go to brush up, to give you a broad overview of the subject matter that may be beneficial to you as well. And you'll see the different things that they have here. And it's very quick, concise, to the point. I mean, it cuts to the chase. I find it to be a very quick brush up explanation of some of the things that I may have forgotten. But I will tell you this, they've got very strict copyrights. So I would not be highlighting and copying their material and put it in a Word document because they monitor that very closely, and they will lock you out of their site, and then you'll have to go ask for permission to get back in. So I would just use it as review material only. But I think this may be helpful for you as well. quickmba.com and alpurdue.edu, two great websites that will help you, I believe, as you jump back into this thing called academics. Turn it into your advantage. Some course professors, again, may choose to make it a one and done, meaning that the start date is going to be different than the post date, which is going to be different than the due date. But they give you one opportunity to upload, one opportunity to submit that assignment, and then they're going to grade it. And I typically will do that later in the program, but for the introductory course, I'm more interested in you getting comfortable with utilizing how to interpret the similarity value index score and how to interpret the report so that you can improve your writing. Okay, I've said a lot. Is there any questions that any one of you have?
Yes, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Is the entry exam, is that the only thing that can be purchased through the bookstore, or would the rest be able to be purchased through the bookstore as well?
The bookstore, and I take it you guys have had an orientation on how to get to the bookstore.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go find we're in summer. So we're doing business. We're doing business 500, and we're doing the first section. And this would be the very same process that you would go through if you order any textbook for any course in our program. So what you see here is that these are the individual modules listed out by assignment number.
Okay.
That you can purchase, and you can see the markup compared. I think these are like $35 if I remember correct, $35 or $40 if you buy it directly through Peregrine. But if you're buying it through Barnes & Noble, our third-party vendor for our bookstore, that's their markup. So you can purchase individual, or you can purchase the bundle set, which you get, again, all 10 for the price of 15. So it's really going to depend, Andy, on what will be the results of your inbound exam.
Okay.
But again, I will tell you, the average has been anywhere from 6 to 8. So if you come up and you say you got to have 12, good. Let's get it done, because that's going to be, that will further build your business acumen as you enter into the program. If you say, gee, I only need one, that's great. That's good too. That says your business acumen is pretty solidified. Now we're going to give you these non-Peregrine assignments to further enhance that. And for those who have to take those Peregrine modules, it will also help build up their business acumen as well.
Okay.
What you don't see here is the outbound exam. which is the last exam you will take. I think that's assignment 7F, and that would be under a uh, different password on Paragon. And here is the 7F Business Essential Outbound exam. So you can get it here, but it's going to be you'll use a different password, which is embedded into our Moodle shell to purchase that if you're purchasing it directly from Paragon. Great question. Anything else?
No, that completes my question.
Okay. Now, Ms. Alexandria, do you have a question?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, it's my last name's Egelski.
Egelski.
Yes.
Egelski. Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification.
Of course.
And I also embedded just what you saw here, our Zoom meeting link. Let's say, because there was one question on the week 1 attendance about the setting of the syllabus, but I thought was a great question. If we want to form a study group, and I would encourage you to do that, not only for this course, but do that throughout your entire program. Because all of us have gaps. All of us is going to bring different academic and professional experience to the table. So leveraging that, I believe, would be to your greatest advantage. So we have embedded our Zoom link here where you may use this link. What I would request is that you let me know, because this is my personal link. This is my pro account. And in that pro account, it's a little bit more robust than your individual accounts. In fact, I think I also created, this Zoom Getting Started Guide. Every student, every faculty member, every adjunct at the university gets a free Zoom account. So you can set up your own account. It's a 40-minute account, but at the end of 40 minutes, it's going to tell you that it's just going to log off just like that, but all you have to do is log right back in and you get another 40 minutes. But every student, every faculty, every adjunct can come here and use this guide and create their own account. And when you do that, let's say, Andy, you created your account and you want to invite 3 people in your study group, you would send them an invitation. You would go into your account, you would go to the meetings section, you would schedule a meeting, then it will send you an email with the URL link, and that would be the link that you would send out to your team members. And you being the host of the meeting, the host would have to sign in before anyone else could join the meeting. It's going to hold you off until you do that. But with this link, you're more than welcome to use it. Just let me know, because I use it a lot as well. So I don't want to overstep what you're doing, but you're more than welcome to use it in this course. And probably your other course professors will do something very similar. Last thing for me, I want to make sure that this is clear, is that in this course only, will probably be the only course that you'll have the flexibility to work far ahead. All the other courses, you're not going to have that flexibility. But because this is the introductory course, people are going to come in with different, again, experiences and academic backgrounds. I fully expect there's going to be some who's going to be through with week 2 before they ever get out of week 1, and vice versa. They're just going to push the limit. But this will be the only course that you have that option to do that. What I also suggest, go ahead and start developing good time management skills, not only for this course, but that's going to carry you throughout the program. And do some work every day. If you wait till the weekend to try to crunch all this in, you're not going to be successful. And that success is that every faculty member is going to tell you the very same thing I'm fixing to tell you, is that late work is not accepted. You don't want to miss your deliverable due dates. It's not that we're trying to be hard and being unjust and uncruel, but in some of these courses, those hard, fast due dates are directly linked to that team assignment. And if you're not getting your deliverables in, then the entire team is suffering as a result of that. And it helps you levelize your work as well as the professor to be able to provide you some timely feedback. So do some work each and every day. When you run into difficulties, you have something comes up that you just cannot meet that deliverable due date. Do not let that get by you. Reach out to that professor. Reach out to that professor before it's due to give that professor the opportunity to make a different decision. I promise you that if you wait till after the assignment is past due and then try to say that I had this event, 99.9% is going to say the course syllabus says no late work accepted. But if you do that beforehand, at least they may make a different decision. I'm not going to say they will, but they may. But I can pretty much guarantee you that if you don't, they certainly will make that decision. The other thing is that the importance of doing some work every day is certainly to meet the deliverables. But let's say you run across something that just is not clear, it's just not clicking. Doing it a little bit every day affords you the opportunity to reach out to that professor to ask that question either through your discussion forums, and just about every one of these Moodle shells is going to have some type of discussion forums like this. Or if you come in here and you click on email, you can send me an email through the Moodle system, or I can send you an email, as well as the normal UMO client email. You can send each other chats, and I believe you can even send me an instant message as well if you're having an issue, not only me, but the course instructor. And I thought it's been a while since I used that, so I may have to go find it. But there is a way in here where we could kind of like instant message each other. So I would use that function. The course professor is typically going to have some type of email or some type of phone call or phone number or some type of other way to get in touch with them. So please do not hesitate to do that. I guess what I'm trying to get to is that we recognize things are going to happen. We're working adults. Life is going to get in the way. Over communicate often. Don't wait till after the fact. Communicate before the event occurs within reason. And I think everyone understands what that means, within reason. So don't hesitate to do that. Anything else?
Well, yes, one last thing regarding the brief bio.
Yes, sir.
So are you expecting us to actually type the bio on that template that you gave us, like use that particular document, like right underneath the template?
Yes, right here, and then upload it here. This is not a graded assignment.
Okay.
It's just more or less for my benefit or for the instructor's benefit.
Okay.
That's all that's for. I mean, you don't have, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing. And it's going to be similar to what you're doing here on the introduction, but here, this just grants you the opportunity to provide me anything else that and I recognize, some people may use this like, hey, I've had a few students who need some accommodations, so you can talk to me about that. I've had some who, on some of the assignments, says, hey, a Friday through Sunday is when my work week. I don't work Monday through Friday. Can I do something different with my assignments? So that's a good place to put that type of information that you don't want out there in the public.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that completes my questions.
Miss Alexandria?
I don't think I have any.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop recording. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I am stopping